All right, good evening, everyone. We're going to get the meeting started. Welcome to our monthly CSC meeting. My name is Ambassador Cantave of Grid Alternatives. I will be your facilitator this evening. This meeting happens monthly, like I said before, and we have people both attending in the room and online. We also have headsets available in the back for interpretation as needed. So please find one of these in the back so that you may be able to hear the language differences as they occur. And so for start, we're gonna start our roll call for all the project leads. Project lead for City of Richmond. Okay. Project lead for Grid Alternatives here present. And please say present when we call you. Project lead for Groundwork Richmond. All right, we'll follow up again for them. Project lead for Rich City Rides. Okay. Project lead for Trust for Public Land. Yeah, yeah, they won't be in. Project lead for UC Berkeley and project lead for Urban Tilt. Thank you so much. Community member Tomasa Espinosa. Thank you. Community member Juana Hernandez. Community member Montserrat Gonzalez. We will check again later. Community member Judith Rocha. No, she's not in yet. Community member Curtis Rice. And community member Jim Becker. Awesome, awesome. So we're gonna move on to reading our land acknowledgement. And normally we ask for the participation of all the stakeholders here to help us in reading it. And as such, I'd like to pass it on to you.
While Richmond Rising seeks to strengthen the economy, improve public health and the environment, particularly in the Iron Triangle, Santa Fe, and Coronado neighborhoods, we do so with awareness that we occupy unceded Huitin and Karkin Ohlone territory.
We acknowledge that land theft of indigenous homelands and the dismantling of indigenous sovereignty was done to advance colonization.
We acknowledge that capitalism and white supremacy are branches of colonization that have persisted throughout hundreds of years of oppression, are alive today, and contribute to keeping Black, Indigenous, and all of the people of color from thriving.
We further acknowledge that this country's political economy and social institutions were built on the forced labor of African people on stolen land through violent, systematic abduction from their homelands and enslavement over hundreds of years.
We further acknowledge the exploitation of immigrant and refugee communities as modern forms of cheap and disposable labor are regularly carried out on stolen land.
Thus, we acknowledge that we have been impacted and harmed by these histories and experiences imposed on our ancestors and communities. We further uplift the shared struggle among Black, Indigenous, and all people of color.
También reconocemos que los pueblos indígenas continúan viviendo aquí, administrando la tierra y resistiendo el colonialismo.
Concluimos que nuestro reconocimiento de la tierra es una declaración y un proceso activo en la evolución. Requiere que reconozcamos las injusticias históricas y nos invita a ser participantes activos en nuestra curación colectiva.
Thank you so much. The City of Richmond and 6 local organizations, together known as Richmond Rising, received $35 million to bring health, economic, and environmental benefits to the Iron Triangle, Santa Fe, and Coronado neighborhoods. Richmond is supported by the California Strategic Growth Council's Transformative Climate Communities program. This collaborative stakeholder committee provides guidance on project implementation and holds us accountable in reaching our goals. We can make recommendations, provide input, and assist project leads in implementing project ideas. We do not have final decision-making authority, and Project leads must consider the recommendation of the committee and members of the public. So now we will take a space for members of the public to provide public comment on items that are not included in the agenda. Is there anyone here this evening that would like to, from the public, that would like to provide comment or in addition?
Hello, everyone. My name is Brenda. I work with Urban Tilth, and I just wanted to invite everyone here today to the ADA groundbreaking ceremony that we'll be having next Tuesday, June 9th, over at Unity Park. We'll be there from 11 to 12. So please come out, enjoy some free tacos that we'll be having, and some, vibes, and just enjoy the groundbreaking with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. So now we will review and approve previous meeting minutes and are wondering if there's anyone that would like to make a motion to approve the previous meeting moments. All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second? Thank you. Okay. So as we have moved and as we have seconded, we shall keep going. Thank you all so much. So right now we are moving to the section of project status reports. Each partner will share up-to-date financials and grant expenditures to date for each project, and this will be shared with the committee and public. So beginning with the grantee.
I'm not used to being the project lead. I'm used to eating burritos. Hi, everyone. My name is Matthias Eusterbrock. I work for the city of Richmond, and I'm the co-lead for the city, so I'll be presenting the city's projects today. Grantee is basically the administrator of this grant, so we help get contracts signed, payments to and from the agency that's giving us the funding, make sure insurance is all good to go and more. So some of the things that we did in the last month, I suppose we are now hosting the 27th CSC meeting out of a total of 52 to be had. And we, as everyone here knows, submitted the 16th bi-monthly report and invoice last month. We received approval of invoice 15, which was a big deal. So those checks take about 30 days to come to the city. But everyone here has already been paid for the invoice, but it takes us a couple of months to get reimbursed afterwards. We also, this is going to be listed twice, but the Neighborhood Complete Streets project has been paying for almost 2 years without getting reimbursed for various reasons. So we worked through issues on that, and we're in the process of getting reimbursed for $200,000 of back pay. We also, as you all know, have the Richmond Rising Hub located next to the BART station, and we've been hosting, we've been helping other organizations host events, including Fierce Advocates, who held an event, I think it was last week, called Facilities and French Fries, where the district representatives came and described the status of current facilities improvements that are needed and started kind of getting input on what the community members thought was the best. What were some important things to consider when prioritizing what to do with the available funds? And we also, Urban Tilth has hosted, I think, 2, if not 3, climate-friendly workshops as well. And I just wanted to put a note here since we didn't know where else to put it. You'll notice in the slides, there's these sort of goals like at the top here where it says number of CSC meetings, and each project has a specific pair or so of goals. Please, in the future, don't delete those. Just fill those out. We'd like to kind of regularly report the same data over time in these updates. So you'll see, I think most of you deleted them for this time, which is understandable. But in the future, if you could please not do that, that would help us report consistently. That's all good. So for this project, next slide. Okay, please hold. The internet here loves to be fickle. There we go. Okay, so the total what am I saying? The total that we had allocated for this is just over 600,000. So far, we've spent 493,000 with another 200,000 remaining. And in the next 2 weeks or so, we plan to complete invoice 16 correspondence. Correspondence on the invoices is basically after we submit the invoice as a package, the state gets back to us with all of the various errors and issues that we need to correct, and we either do those for you all or we work with you all to correct those. So we will finish that. We're hoping by tomorrow, but certainly in the next 2 weeks. And we will also be finalizing the submission for the amendments and modifications that we've all been putting together. So this is the same package that you all contributed to, many of you contributed to months ago, but similar to the correspondence for the invoice, they got back to us with comments and we've been responding to those and working with you all to respond. So we will be submitting that by the end of next week would be my plan, if not even earlier. And next is another project from the city. This is Neighborhood Complete Streets, which is about 2 miles of bike lanes, street trees, and other improvements along Harbor Way. And currently we're working still with the consultant on CEQA and NEPA, which are the environmental laws. So the C is for California Environmental Quality Act and the N is National Environmental Protection Act. Essentially the state and national laws that require us to look at the environmental impacts, which include cultural impacts to native resources and other kind of non-traditional environmental potentials for issue. So we're working still to analyze any potential for that. Like I said earlier, we completed the back billing of the $200,000 that we hadn't been reimbursed for. We're finalizing the what are called 95% plans for the first phase of construction, which is from McDonald to Hoffman. So we're working with the consultant going back and forth on kind of the final designs. And we're working with Caltrans, which is the California Department of Transportation, for review of the documents because we are crossing the freeways, which is their jurisdiction. Total funds to date that we've spent is 114,000, which is not much out of the total budget, of which remaining is over 5 million. This project numerically can look behind, but the thing is construction is really expensive, but the planning isn't as expensive. So once we start cutting into the ground, pouring concrete and getting heavy machinery out there, we will be spending this money much faster. In the next couple of weeks, we will get the response from Caltrans on the design documents, and it says begin. It meant to say begin response to these documents. Apologize for the typo. And then we'll also be putting out a request for proposals, which is an RFP, for a consultant or a company to work on the design and environmental, which is kind of the same as I described for phase 1, but we'll be doing it for phases 2, 3, and 4, which are the remainder of that stretch. We'll be releasing that RFP next week. Next, we have the Richmond Wellness Trail. They're not here today, so I'll just keep going. So the work that they've completed since last week, so I should say the Richmond Wellness Trail is also a bike and pedestrian trail that runs down Marina Way. And that will run all the way to the ferry building. And it's basically bike paths, street trees, bus stop improvements, and other things that make it more comfortable to bike and walk from our neighborhoods. So we met with, well, I should say that Trust for Public Land met with the City Planning Department and the Public Works Department to coordinate some of the funds and leverage those with other funds that the city is spending for similar infrastructure projects. So the city funds would enhance basically the base project that we have funded through TCC, and also help us be a little more cost efficient, because once you already kind of do the project management and basically cut the concrete open, the more you can do at that point instead of having to recut it open later, saves money and also time. So yeah, just working on coordinating those funds and also working with a consultant on the National Environment Protection Act required review of potential environmental impacts. This project is also total budget over 5 million. As you'll see here, we've spent about 519,000, and there's 4.3 million left. Similar to the other project, the reason it looks sort of behind schedule as far as the spend down is because the real spending happens once you cut into the ground. Next couple of weeks, we're just going to be continuing the coordination between all the departments and Trust for Public Land, and continuing the design and the analysis, and also begin working on the 90% design review set.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mayeli. I am the project manager for the e-bike lending library. Our project is it's a three-part project where we've designed and going to start construction of a e-bike lending library building at Unity Park. We're also going to have a VTM program where participants can register and train to do basic maintenance on their e-bikes. The participants will take a 5-hour course during a 5-hour course, sorry, 1 hour each time. They will graduate with a free e-bike. And then with our e-bike lending library program, our participants can rent a e-bike, for 2 hours to anywhere for up to a week for free. The work completed for the e-bike lending library since the last meeting is we participated in the electric transportation fair on May 16th. We participated in Bike to Wherever Day. We finished and submitted our our BAAQMD opportunity grant. We continued to register, conduct, and participate in different community outreach events. And we've also been meeting with other e-bike lending libraries in California to kind of get their feedback with our operations or future operations. We've also, so for the design and construction update, we're going to be presenting our project to City Council to seek support with our budget deficit. And I believe that is going to be, Matias, can you correct me if I'm wrong here? Matias? Sorry. When are we presenting to City Council? June 16th. We would appreciate everybody coming by and giving us your support. Our total expenditures reported to date are approximately $295,000. Our remaining budget is $2.1 million. The planned work in the next week, again, we're attending the City Council meeting for the e-bike lending library. And then we're going to continue to access opportunities for additional funding.
Thank you so much, Mayeli. Now we'll move to the project lead for the Resilient Homes Project, which is me. Our work completed since last meeting. We've completed the Bay Area Air District Catalyst Repair Grant submission with the City of Richmond, with the City of Richmond's TCC team. In addition, we've applied to the Bay Area Air District's Opportunity Grant with other members of the City of Richmond as well. We've conducted a bi-weekly meeting with the City of Richmond for summer workshop planning, bi-weekly Resilient Homes teams, community outreach strategy meetings. We have participated in the Children's Day event at Lincoln Elementary. We participated at Wellness Wednesdays with Urban Tilth at Lucas Park. Began to plan a summer outdoor workshop at the Greenway, planning with Urban Tilth and Fierce Advocates, bi-weekly Canvas events, and since we've last met, we have installed on 3 projects in the project area. Total expenditures to date are $1.697 million. The remaining budget is $5.269 million. Planned work in the next 2 weeks is continued planning for Grid TCC summer events, continued canvassing events within the TCC area, and completion of bi-monthly TCC invoice report. I'm going to go ahead and read for the project lead for Bosco del Barrio.
We want to be explaining the projects when we're presenting, so that way everyone knows what to expect. So Bosque del Barrio is planting 1,000 trees in the neighborhoods. Oh yeah, that's right. Lorena's actually here. Lorena, we tried to make you a panelist a few times, but I don't think you accepted. So we'll just keep you there. Should be able. There we go.
Hi.
Okay, we can hear you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for letting me on. Sorry I couldn't be there in person, but happy to report on our updates. So like Matthias was saying, our project is to plant 1,000 trees in the allotted neighborhoods. And so far we've planted approximately 400 trees. So we're almost halfway there, which is really exciting. But in this last month, we've planted 18 trees. We participated in the Nickel Park Design Day event with Rising Juntos. We are currently hiring a program manager, so we've been interviewing, and hopefully we'll have a new program manager here in the next month or so. And we also completed our grant proposals for the BackMed grant opportunities. And this month, we canvassed 4 different neighborhoods for our Adopt a Tree program. We've spent roughly $373,000, and we have about $700,000 remaining. What we have planned for the next 2 weeks, we're going to prepare for our Green Team, which is our summer youth program, where I don't want to say employ, but we have like a summer internship for high school youth, and we're partnering with YouthWorks this year, and that'll be starting in July. Again, we're hiring folks, so that'll be onboarding for the next month or so, and we are recruiting board members. So if anyone here is interested in joining our board, we'd love to have you. You can find out more information on our website, or you can get in contact with me, or anyone from Richmond Rising can direct you to groundwork. And we also really exciting. We started our Arbor Day planning, which will be October 17th. And so we're talking with the city, and we've been planning for another Arbor Day event this year. And yeah, so more information to come on that event. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Shane Way. I'm with Urban Tilth, Program Director at Urban Tilth. We have several projects at Urban Tilth. So I'm going to start with the Basins of Relations. That's essentially a 2-part program. There is a training for local residents centered around land stewardship, specifically land that water touches, like creeks and watersheds. And then there's also water conservation installations for project area residents. The work completed since last meeting, developing and implementing professional development opportunities for young adult graduates of our Basins of Relations training program. Number of homes serviced with water conservation installations is 3. 3 drip irrigation systems were installed for Iron Triangle homeowners, including drought-tolerant native plant installation. And 25,520 gallons of annual water savings were achieved. Their total expenditures to date are around $571,000, and the remaining budget is about $1.1 million. In the next 2 weeks, they plan to do 2 drip installations for Iron Triangle homeowners. And at the Native Plant Nursery, drought-tolerant plant propagation workdays to prepare for fall planting season. The next project is the Universally Accessible Community Garden, which is exactly what it sounds like, a universally accessible community garden on the Richmond Greenway. Work completed since last meeting. They have a construction update. The contract with Urban Tilth and Suarez and Munoz was executed May 13th. And they also mobilized and prepared for the groundbreaking ceremony, which you heard earlier is going to be happening on Tuesday, June 9th from 11 to 12. And that's at 1605 Ohio Avenue on the Greenway. Everyone is invited. And then they have an updated construction schedule for a June 10th construction start date. Very exciting. Total expenditures to date around $136 $1,000, and the remaining budget is $818,000. In the next 2 weeks, they'll be hosting that groundbreaking ceremony, which we will all be present for. And they're going to start construction and continue to monitor project development and expenditures. Next project, Orchard for All. Also sort of a two-part project. There's a training program for, again, local youth and residents. And then there is a gleaning program. So the crew will go into neighboring communities and they will harvest the fruit from the trees that neighbors have. And they will also take care of those trees as well. We do also give away fruit trees and we provide services to maintain those fruit trees. The work completed since last meeting, they started the fruit tree pickup at the North Richmond Farm and have now given away 189 fruit trees to date. They serviced 122 trees in the project area, which includes planting, pruning, and amending soil or other care. They've planted 24 trees, and they've harvested almost 295 pounds of fruit. Total expenditures to date, just under $344,000. And the remaining budget is right around $824,000. In the next 2 weeks, they will be giving away trees at local farm stands, Unity Park and Lucas Park farm stands. Unity Park and Lucas Park farm stand, Unity Park happens on Fridays and at 2:00, and Lucas Park happens on Wednesdays at 2:00. They will also be servicing 150 trees, again, planting, pruning, and amending soil or other care, and then planting 25 trees in the project area and harvesting another 300 pounds of fruit. Next project is Veggie RX. This one's a little bit more complicated. It's got a lot of parts, but essentially it is a food access, community health, nutrition education, equity program. So lots of moving pieces, including a lot of training opportunities and educational opportunities like workshops, as well as distributing free, toxin-free, locally grown produce to the project area residents. Work completed since last meeting. Climate health promoters graduated, 18. So we had I think it's the 5th cohort of climate health promoters. And these were youth that graduated. I think it was 16 to 24 years of age. 374 produce boxes were distributed. And the team also hosted 2 climate-friendly diet workshops at the hub and graduated, this 5th cohort of climate health promoters on May 16th. And they also hosted a veggie giveaway at Lincoln Elementary School. Total expenditures to date, about $1.3 million, and the remaining budget is just under $2 million. In the next 2 weeks, they're planning for their next climate-friendly diet workshop with Atchison Village Neighborhood Council, which will be held on June 25th. And they will be planning and finalizing the climate-friendly diet event schedule for July and August.
All right, so I'm going to present again for the city of Richmond on the e-bike share program, which is a program that puts hubs throughout the city with electric bikes that are fully charged and ready to go that you can access using an app. The program is run through the company Ride Today. And just sorry, Salma, real quick, I'm just going to point out Salma in the back there, who is the community manager for the program. So she's an excellent source of information. But I guess technically it's the city's program, so I'll talk about it. But Salma is the expert. The main thing that's been done in the last month, besides just ongoing maintenance and readiness for all the bikes to be ready at any time, and this is kind of more the celebratory thing, is that the city council approved funding for the program through the end of June. So that took a couple months of work to get that approved, but it was approved 2 weeks ago. Total expenditures to date is $607,000, and total remaining budget is $392,000. And in the next 2 weeks, in the next 2 weeks, Ride Today and the City of Richmond will be working together to figure out what's the best funding strategy going forward, and for how the program itself will be implemented in the next couple of years. Yeah. Next slide. Oh yeah, City of Richmond's got a lot. Can you give one of those mics, Gabby? So for the community engagement plan, it's kind of a our two-partner project. The City of Richmond is part of it, and the Rich City is part of it. So I'll be presenting the City of Richmond's points here, and then Gabby will be talking about the rest of the points. The city, what we do is we are kind of we organize this meeting. We organize other community meetings around all types of related topics. And then we also attend lots of related meetings so that we are in the know on what's happening and we can spread the word for TCC. So in the last month, we attended the Rich PEP meeting, which stands for the Rich Park Equity Project. And that's a collection of organizations in the city that are focused on equity in the parks and really kind of focusing on programs and also infrastructure improvements, and kind of prioritizing them with opportunities that exist and in the future. Our leader, Beatrice, also attended the 40 Under 40 Leadership Summit in San Antonio. So she not only was given an award, but also training and networking with other amazing 40 under 40, the other 39 under 40. So that was really great. We are obviously proud of her. She's amazing. We also have been working with Grid on it's sort of a hybrid workshop that happens over Zoom, but also hosted at the City Hall. So we not only kind of work together to plan those, but also to actually do those. And then finally, the Climate Health Promoters Program of the VegRx program had a graduation here, and we were there. It was a beautiful event. I feel like the graduations just keep getting better and better. And so lots to be proud of for the promoters. I'll pass it to Gabby with Rich City.
Hi, everybody. My name is Gabriela Zacharias, and I'm with Rich City Rides. I am the TCC Youth Fellow Program Manager. Our youth program is part of the Community Engagement Plan, which means that we hire youth that live, work, study, and volunteer in our project area to come and help the Richmond Rising team share information about their projects, and help with their community engagement, whether that's through our community bike rides, through tabling, through one-on-one resident interviews, sometimes volunteering and helping out at projects with our partners. One of them was with Great Alternatives. Some of our youth fellows helped at their workshops. So yeah, our youth are really here to help highlight and really share what these projects are about outside of just our CSC meetings. So in terms of our update, our youth fellows started some of their trainings earlier this month. Our youth fellows also assisted the City of Richmond and the BPAC team on backstuffing in preparation to Bike to Wherever Day. And then myself and Mayeli from the e-bike lending library tabled at the Sylvester Greenwood Academy Energizer station. And then Malia and I continued to review potential youth fellow applicants and also conducted interviews. We are still accepting applications. And then Malia and I also hosted a brainstorming session for a potential bike ride that would be happening in July. The purpose of the bike ride is to highlight the Richmond Rising projects and visit some of the locations where these projects are going to be taking place. The goal of this is to really be able to visualize and get to see the projects, outside of just our CSC meetings. So this would be a great opportunity for community members to come on out, ride a bike, and come visit some of these project sites. So for those partners that were able to attend, I thank you very much. And I look forward to connecting with you one-on-one to see how we can plan for that bike ride. Total expenditure reported to date is $704,000. Remaining budget is 1.8 million. Planned work in the next 2 weeks. Youth fellows will be continuing their trainings on community engagement, community organizing, and an overview of the Richmond Rising projects and other additional trainings. Malia and I will continue recruitment and reviewing applications. Our youth fellows will be tabling at the Juneteenth celebration event. If you want our youth fellows to share any of your TCC outreach material during the event, please connect with me, send me an email. I would love to coordinate with you to pick up your outreach material. So again, we're gonna be tabling at the Juneteenth event. So if you want any of your TCC material to be shared by our youth fellows that day, it's a good way for you to take advantage of that. And then lastly, Malia and I will continue to connect with TCC partners and community partners on the July community bike ride collaboration. And then lastly, tomorrow, all the partners will be receiving an email from me with the form for you to be able to request youth fellows for your community engagement needs in terms of your TCC projects. And so you can start requesting them for next month.
And then I'll just do one other for the city of Richmond side. There's Juneteenth, which is on Juneteenth is on June 19th, but the celebration is on the 20th, which I encourage everyone to go. We will also be there. And there's the other event is June 18th, which is a Thursday at the Lot in downtown Richmond near the BART station. There will be a performance by Andre Thierry, who is a Zydeco player, which is accordion, kind of like accordion soul, as he calls it. Oh, okay. But I brought that up because if anyone's interested in tabling at that event, please let us know. Eduardo sent an email out earlier, but we do hope, we imagine there will be good attendance and it'll be a good event. So if you want to table or leave materials, let us know. All right. This is me again. The displacement avoidance plan. The displacement avoidance plan is like a 5-part project that includes a toolkit for easily building an accessory dwelling unit at your home, which saves you a good amount of money and time. There's also a facade improvement program, which gives grants up to $15,000 to local businesses to do facade improvements. And there's also architectural support that's designed. So basically, the city will help fund an architect to design the facade improvements if the business is interested. There's also a buy local campaign that will essentially be like, well, it's a little bit, the design of the program is in the air, but it'll be something like either discounts or cash for local businesses, as well as a series of kickoff events, things like that to kind of highlight local businesses. So that's going to be fun. There's also a renter, well, what was formerly known as the Renter Access Ordinance, which we are now shifting with the approval of SGC to the Residential Rental Inspection Program, which is basically every residential rental unit in the city, meaning every place that people pay rent to live, will be inspected every 3 years. And this is for basic quality of life and safety issues. So that's obviously great for renters, but also during that, we will be providing free and reduced cost electrification and other decarbonization programs, which includes solar, but is also things like electrical appliances and things like that. And the last program is a community land trust project that is looking to purchase and develop lands under a community land trust model, which is essentially To simplify, a community land trust greatly is a property in which the residents of that property would have co-ownership, as well as potentially other community members. There's a lot of layers to a community land trust, but essentially it's ownership and empowerment for the residents over their place of living. So those are all the programs, which are all in various stages, some of which are in slow moving stages. The one that's been moving most fast recently are the facade improvement program, which is kind of the energy that was behind hosting Small Business Week events in it was not last week, but I believe it was the week before that. So there was a variety of events throughout the city geared towards educating and empowering entrepreneurial small businesses in the city. So that was like accounting support, idea support. There was a social media event that was very popular at CoBiz. There was events at the lot and more. And there was also a panel at the lot where we were a part of the panel. This project has a total budget of about $700,000, but to date has been spent $175,000, and the remaining budget is $507,000. In the next couple of weeks, we, being the Community Development Department, will be working with the Economic Development Department to work on the Buy Local campaign, which is having some outstanding issues with contract execution. Those of you who have contracted with the city may have experienced some challenges that are, reasonable, but also important to address. So we will be stepping in with the economic development team to help them finalize the contract for this Buy Local campaign. And then also this program will continue doing outreach for the facade improvement program. So this looks like door-to-door visits to businesses in the area to tell them about the program and to support them with the application. We've been taking phone calls, we've been taking emails, and generally doing as much as we can to try to get local businesses in on this free $15,000. The next program or plan, I should say, is the Workforce Development and Economic Opportunity Plan. This plan is done in two parts, one with the City of Richmond and in part by Grid Alternatives. It's also a number of programs, some of which are programs, which is like training for employment, and some of which is more the planning part, which is about thinking about what are the issues related to employment in the project area and how can we address those. In the last month, we hosted a trade fair meeting at City Hall. And trade fairs and other job fairs, for those who aren't familiar, is basically employers and trainers all kind of do tabling, and then people who are interested in finding new employment or learning new skills to get new employment can show up and learn about who's there and also get, free, I would say swag as the word, the stuff we all get for attending these types of events. And then also, we've been doing outreach as part of this. I should say the employment and training team has been regularly doing basically office hours at the Richmond Rising Hub, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., where they use the office inside, but they also sometimes will table outside and let people who are taking the BART, coming to or from the BART, know about the programs and even do signups from there. And then I'll pass it to Grid Alternatives.
Thank you. So as part of the WDEOP, Grid Alternatives is hiring a workforce jobs developer to support our TCC work. So if anyone knows any quality candidates, please visit our website. They can go to our Grid Alternatives current job openings webpage and get more information there. Grid Alternatives has also set the dates for our upcoming Oakland cohort for our solar installation basics training program. And this program is a accredited 5-week, 200-hour pre-apprenticeship program that teaches participants technical and professional skills, which are entry level, but assist in onboarding with a solar installer. They receive 2 weeks of supervised installs and IBT 200 training, OSHA 10 training, CPR first aid, as part of the training. And upon completion of it, all participants will receive a $3,200 stipend upon graduation. To learn more about it, the website is gridalternatives.org/IBT200. All right. And if anyone has any questions above, you can talk to me, but I can also direct you to our director of this program, and I'll provide you his email. Thanks.
Total expenditures to date. Oh, and Bess has also got flyers here, and he's got some flyers at the front as well for anyone interested in learning more about the program or signing up. Highly recommend that program. Total expenditures to date, $362,000, and remaining budget, $1,070,000. In the next 2 weeks, some of the things we'll be doing, the employment and training team will be developing a calendar of workforce and job readiness training and local job fair events. This has been identified as a need that would be very useful for not only the city, but others who work with those who are interested in getting jobs and getting better jobs. And then also they will be completing recruitment for Richmond Build cohorts. So Richmond Build is a program operated by the city where the students are trained and paid to take the classes, and it's a broad overview of construction trades, and is a great connection for future jobs in construction, including things like electricity, plumbing, and other more skilled trades.
Working. Hi, everyone. My name is Alice Bruno. I am the representative of the UC Berkeley evaluation team. Our team is a research team. It's an academic team that's based nearby at the University of California, Berkeley, and we partner with the city of Richmond and all project partners to basically help them keep track of everything that's going on. As you've heard, it's lots of pieces, lots of different programs, and every project has lots of amazing things going on, but it can be hard to basically get an overview of everything that's happening. And so that's what our team does or tries to do. We work with every individual project and help them keep track of whether they're moving forward towards their goals. And then we compile reports every year that provide an overview of everything that has been happening in the project area and try to highlight some of the amazing stories and things that are happening in the, again, project area. We also every year are responsible to highlight 2 case studies, and those are just more in-depth stories about things that we think are unique in what's happening in Richmond, and we get the privilege of doing interviews or just doing more in-depth profiles about some of those every year. So that's a bit about what we do. And then in terms of work completed since our last meeting, we sent out our annual report for year 2 to all project partners, and we gather feedback. So we implemented that feedback. So thanks to everybody who provided that. We have now included a profile about our amazing Gabby to our Youth Fellows case study, and you'll get a chance to hear about that and read about it. And we've just finally completed our report, so that's going to be available for public review soon. And we've also worked on an exciting new dashboard. I'll get a chance to talk about it a little bit later, but that's what our team has been up to. And then in terms of our total expenditures to date, we've spent approximately $600,000. And our remaining budget is approximately $450,007. Is that right in English? Yes. And then for our work plan for the next 2 weeks, we're hoping to have your feedback once again about the dashboard. We want to know if you think it makes sense and if it's doing a good job at capturing your efforts. We'll plan to make edits accordingly, and then we'll start strategizing our work plan for our 3rd annual report.
And then I'm just going to quickly introduce this slide. So we wanted to be, based on some feedback from people in this committee, we wanted to start more regularly reporting outcomes and metrics. So the ones we wanted to report are the budget spent, the percent budget spent, and some of the outcomes. So that is why we would like you in the future to not delete the template items in your respective slides, because we would be using your responses to those to build out these graphs. So the dollars, obviously we know, but if you delete the sections and you don't put the numbers in, we can't fill this out for the other goals. So Yeah, so that's the total budget spent here. You can see the color contrast is a bit hard, but you can see most projects have not spent halfway, which some of them are kind of built in that way. And then, of course, some of us are just trying to figure out how to make the projects move so that we can spend them. Are there any questions about this slide? All right.
Thank you so much, Matthias.
Yeah, espera.
My question is about the complete streets on Harbor Way. Do you have an estimate on when the work will start?
No, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, I can get back to you on that. I'm not sure. I'm not working on that project directly, so I would not be able to answer that question.
I have a suggestion because you're also working on cutting Boulevard. I would like you to think about who's going to help the children to cross the street. You should have people there helping the children because now they're working on cutting Boulevard and it's hard to see with the construction going on. It's hard to see when people are crossing the street and children walk there all the time. So please think about.
Yeah, that's a great recommendation. I'll definitely share that with the Public Works team to see if they can do something like that. And in general, see who might be able to do that more regularly. That might be a school district as well, but we do have some relationships with the school. So thanks for that recommendation. And one more.
If you could maybe do a presentation talking about all the information in regards of the rental inspections, because last time you said that you're still working on that. I would like to have updated information in regards.
Yeah, that's also a great recommendation. We'll definitely do that. I will reach out to the project manager for that and see what's a good time, whether that's the next meeting or the following. But I think we can do that definitely in the next few months, if not sooner. Thank you. Are there any other questions? And for anyone who doesn't speak Spanish, yes, there are more headsets in the back. One more comment.
Pueden venir por un audífono. I love the graph. And I would like to see the name of the project because you have them numbered by project 1, project 2, or 3, but I would like to see the name of the actual project. Sí, podemos actualizar eso para la próxima reunión. Gracias por el comentario.
All right. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Matthias. Thank you, Tomasa. And we'd like to know if there are any other community questions, comments, or maybe even responses to questions you may have heard in the room. Thank you. Awesome. So now we are going to move on to the next section of the meeting where we have just a few presentations, and all of them are listed over here. All Stars presentation, an introduction of our new youth fellow cohort, a nomination of youth fellows to the CSC, report on the indicator tracking plan, the year 2 presentation, UC Berkeley presentation on transparent Richmond dashboard, presentation of the Shumi land tax by Jim Becker, and a Bay Area Ed District Catalyst Grant presentation. So coming up next, we'd like to call up the team from the All Stars Project. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. Can y'all hear me now? Wonderful. My name is Larry Huan, and I'm from East Oakland, and I'm with the All Stars Project. I first joined the All Stars Project in 2016 when I was a high school student. And today I'm here as a coordinator giving back the magic of development as a staff member. Next slide, please. Through the developmental power of performance, the All-Stars transforms the lives of youth from poor and underserved communities in partnership with caring adults, giving everyone the opportunity to grow. So, what's performance? Some of you guys might associate performance with something else, something that dancers, singers, and actors do. But performance is something we always do. And right now, I'm performing as a presenter. You guys are performing as an audience member. Our performances in our lives differ from the stage and the audience we encounter, whether that be, a date with your partner, dinner with your in-laws, talking with your friends. At the All-Stars Project, we use that lens to empower people from underserved communities like Oakland, Richmond, Antioch, and even as far as Richmond. Because for young people from underserved communities like ours, there's a lot of unfamiliar situations we have to navigate without the support or resources for more privileged peers. So that includes the performance of networking and interviewing, the performance of going to a museum and talking about art, the performance of a firm handshake. There's a lot of things that young people have to support or navigate alone. At the All-Stars Project, we use this lens of performance in our free corporate workshops, cultural outings, and coaching programs to help underserved young people get this help they need to navigate these performances. Next slide, please. All right, so I've been talking a lot about performance, and let's just get a little taste of it. What we're about to do is one of the many improv exercises that we use to bring people together. These performance exercises push people out of their comfort zone and allows us to play together, humanize each other, and build bridges with each other. So, for those of you who can stand up, please do so. And for those who cannot, I just invite you to join us and have fun from your seats. So what we're gonna do is stand up. Thank you. And we're gonna count down from 8 and move our bodies. We're gonna count loud and together, and we're gonna speed up as we count down. So I'm gonna put my mic down and let's do this together. How did that feel? I kind of needed that. I have been up since 4 a.m. and I'm so tired. And now I'm back up. Okay, so for over 4 decades, the All Stars Project has brought free developmental power programs to inner city youth. We were founded in 1981 in Harlem, and we've expanded all over the nation. Through our partnerships and our sponsors, we are 100% privately funded. And with that, we make all our programs free. So young people have minimal barriers. Hold up, sorry. So young people have minimal barriers to participate in our programs. With that, we're nationwide in 6 cities. We're in the Bay Area, we're in New York City, we're in Jersey, we're in Chicago, and we're in Dallas. Next slide, please. Building bridges across the Bay. Young people from ages 16 to 24 learn and perform both professionalism and cosmopolitanism with caring adults in new cultural and professional settings. And they grow their communication skills and confidence. I first joined the All-Stars through the corporate workshops, and being from East Oakland, I was the first to go to college in my family, and I didn't know anyone in the corporate world. The All-Stars really bridge what I really didn't know about the business world and how to navigate that entire environment by bringing me to the big offices in San Francisco and teaching me the performance of corporate America and teaching me and introducing me how to really communicate and network with these caring adults. All these tools are very valuable for young people in creating their own successes. Next. Development coaching is a 10-week virtual program that pairs young people and caring adults with volunteer or young adults who are 18 to 24 with volunteer industry leaders. Coaches receive one-on-one support around personal and professional growth, with both coaches and coachees learning and growing together. I recently did this program 4 times when I was in college, and it really helped me navigate what decisions I should do in terms of choosing coursework, getting my first internships and jobs, and also navigating post-graduation moves. With that, I work with a lot of coachees, and the connections these young people form with their coaches are incredible. Some of them have flown out from like literally to Ohio to attend their young people's graduations. Some of them have, or at least there's this one young person who worked on their memoir with their coach. And there's another young person who's in the Richmond area. She faced a very devastating house fire, and her coach was able to really give her the resources and help her navigate through that entire debacle. Next. We also bring development in new spaces, such as schools. So in the Bay Area, we have partnerships with the Crystal Ray Network, and it's a really unique model in that young people at these schools, they do an internship for 1 day of their school week, where they gain valuable work experience while also paying for their tuition and keeping it affordable. So the All-Stars helps facilitate new student orientations, and we use the power of performance to help young people navigate new spaces like their corporate work study jobs. With that, we also have youth host trainings where students are trained as ambassadors and leaders for high-level fundraising events. With that, the young people over the course of a few months, they go to our events. We take them to big companies like Deloitte, EY, Gilead, and all that. And they really blossom in terms of being confident and being very adept at communicating who they are, what they do, and why donors and supporters should donate to the school to keep their tuition low. Next slide, please. We also have a partnership with our very own Richmond Rising. Last fall, we brought development through performance to support an ensemble of Rich City Rides youth fellows and also Richmond City staff to build stronger public speaking skills, confidence, creativity, and connection. There's some familiar faces, so I was curious if anyone who attended the workshop wanted to share their experience.
Hi, everybody. My name is Gabriela. And again, I'm the TCC Youth Fellow Program Manager. I've been in contact with the All Stars Project. Larry and I met last year at the College and Career Fair at the Richmond Auditorium. And we've kind of been continuing that partnership on. And our first cohort got to experience this public speaking workshop, which was kind of like an introduction. Our youth fellows absolutely loved it. Going into it, our youth fellows really thought that it was going to be kind of like presentation style, kind of similar to this, where we're standing, speaking in front of, an audience with an actual PowerPoint slide, but it was quite the opposite of that. You guys got a little glimpse of that through the exercise that we did as a group. And so we got to do different forms of that, but really get down to the nitty gritty, and they were able to all be vulnerable. And what I love that it was great for all ages, as much for our youth as well as the adults. Everybody was being silly, everybody was being vulnerable, everybody was out of their comfort zone. So yeah, I definitely enjoyed seeing everybody participate.
Thank you, Gabi. All right, next slide. So let's develop before I close out, we also will be having another workshop with Richmond Rising on July 31st. The exact time and place are still being decided, but everyone in the room, or more so like Richmond Rising partners, you guys are invited to come participate, build community, and also improve your confidence, communication, and public speaking skills. So to wrap it up, let's develop together, whether you're a caring adult or a young person. Young people, we have a lot of workshops this summer. We have a workshop at RBC where you guys can learn about investment banking, finance, and other careers and how to get there. We also have a opera event where we're gonna go see an opera for the first time. And all these events are completely free. For caring adults, if you want to sponsor some type of workshop or volunteer with us, you're welcome to sign up to do so. For organizations that want to bring this type of development through performance approach to your organizations to really strengthen the community connections within and outside of it, please feel free to contact us. I will be sitting over there, and please feel free to contact us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Larry. Does anyone have any questions or comments at all for the All Stars project? That sounds amazing. That sounds awesome. Yes.
I was actually able to serve as a mentor in one of their cohorts for the All-Star Project. So I definitely encourage any of the partners that are interested in being a mentor. It was really nice. I got to work with a college student that was from a whole different state. Every student is different and has different needs, and I was able to work with her on her resume, looking for internship. She's barely in her first year, so she's kind of like in that exploration phase. So yeah, I definitely encourage organizations to definitely check them out. I think especially if you have a youth program, I think it would be a good idea to introduce them not only to the resources, but also check out a workshop with them.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Gabby. Any other questions at all? Well, thank you so much, Larry. Thank you, All Stars Project, and awesome collaboration. So next up, we'll be passing the mic back to Rich City Rise to present their introduction of the new Youth Fellow cohort.
All right, everybody. I'm going to have our youth fellows come up to the front. So can we give them a round of applause, please? Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so far we have 6 youth fellows. We are missing Juan that was not able to be with us today, but he will be with us next CSC meeting. Like I mentioned, we are still recruiting youth fellows, but at the moment, these are the youth fellows that have started earlier in May. So I'm gonna let them introduce themselves. They're gonna let you know their name, what project area they represent. And then I'm also going to be asking them 2 questions. The first question that they're going to be answering it is, what is one thing that they look forward to learning more about in our Youth Fellow program? And then the second one is, which TCC project are they most excited about collaborating with and why? And so hopefully that second question will really help our TCC partners kind of gauge in terms of ways to collaborate, ways to get our youth fellows involved, and in what ways they can help with your community outreach or also participate in your project. So I'm going to be starting with the first person.
Hello, everyone. My name is Maribel Rios. I am part of the second cohort for the Rich City Rise Youth Fellow program. I represent the Iron Triangle neighborhood. And one thing I look forward to learning more about is improving my communication skills, because I think community is very important. So knowing how to talk to your community, knowing how to engage with your own community is very important, so you understand the people that you're working with. The TCC project that I'm most excited to collaborate with is the Bosques del Barrio, because I think it's very important for everyone to walk outside and see trees. They're very important. They improve our respiratory. I know a lot of people in Richmond have respiratory issues due to the refinery that we have very close to us. So I think, getting more trees, getting more green is very good.
Hello, my name is Frida Solis. I am a part of the Richmond Rising Youth Fellow, second cohort. One thing I'm looking forward to is starting new projects and being able to make positive impacts, as well as improving my communication skills, because I feel like that's something that's really important. And a TCC project I am most excited about collaborating is the Rich City. I'm really interested in learning how to fix the bikes and using it for transportation, especially because it helps with the environment and reducing pollution. And
Hello, my name is Daniel Diaz. I represent the Iron Triangle. And something I look forward to with the Youth Fellow program is getting involved with the community, going to events, knowing how to talk to people, getting them together to do projects, learn more about these projects. And then one of the TCC projects I'm more interested about is the e-bike lending library. I think it's a cool project to get out there, getting people to use e-bikes, riding bikes more. Yeah.
My name is Carlos Polana. I represent the Iron Triangle neighborhood. One thing I'm looking forward to and learning in the youth fellowship program is like some communication skills. I want to help build community as well. One of the TCC projects I'm most looking forward to collaborating with is also the e-bike lending library. I think it's very important, and it can also help like combat against all the emissions being released from other vehicles that use gas.
Hello. My name is Brian Gallegos Manzo, and I represent the Iron Triangle program. And I look forward to looking for is communication skills and public speaking, and to help my peers around me. And the project I'm most excited for is also the e-bike lending, because because it could help people to like get to places and not worry have to pay like much money for gas, and like easier to get places a lot quicker, and where you need to go.
All right, can we give them a round of applause, please? Thank you. All right, so like I mentioned, we're missing Juan. He represents the Coronado neighborhood. Can we go on the next slide? These are some pictures from some of our trainings. This was actually them at the lot during the Business Week event. Our youth fellows visited during the time where they were doing the panel, they were doing a fashion show, and then here is with Sarah from the Richmond Main Street Project. And then here's our youth fellows using the TCC bar office for their training. Yeah, we're going to, like I mentioned before, our youth fellows are going to continue their training into June. They're going to be at the Juneteenth event. So again, partners, if you would like for our lovely youth fellows to share information about your TCC projects, definitely get your outreach material ready. Send me an email so we can schedule a pickup time for them to help you share information about your TCC projects. Other than that, are there any questions for any of our youth fellows? Any general questions that you guys have about our program? All right, can we give them one last round of applause, please? Oh, you're gonna stay.
So now we are going to nominate a youth fellow to the CSC for a one-year term. So maybe you can have
Yes.
for that.
So, hi again, everybody. Like the last time you guys saw our youth fellows was back, I believe in March was the last CSC meeting that our first cohort officially attended. We have 4 youth fellow seats available. As of right now, within our current cohort, Frida is so far the youth fellow that have the availability to come with us on Wednesdays to the CSC meeting. So hopefully once we get more applications in and hire more youth fellows, we'll able to fill in the 3 remaining youth fellow spots on our committee. But for now, Frida is going to be our representative for our youth program during the next CSC meeting starting in July. So without further ado, I'm going to kind of let Frida talk a little bit about herself and then just give us a little reason why she wants to be part of the CSC committee.
Hello, as you may know, my name is Frida. I am a Richmond Rising Youth Fellow, part of the second cohort. I represent the Iron Triangle. The reason why I want to be a part of the CSC committee is because I enjoy helping out my community. I've done some volunteer work with my sister, Carla Solis, who is working with Urban Tilth, who is currently activating Lucas Park. And doing like volunteering with her has really made me realize how much I enjoy helping out the community. And another reason to that is because I think it's important to keep others informed about new projects happening and events, as well as addressing any concerns that may help to strengthen our community as a whole. Thank you.
Do any partners or members of the committee have any questions for Frida? Thank you.
I'm curious who your sister is.
Carla Solis.
Oh, okay, cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions from partners, from committee members, or even any members from the audience that have any questions for Frida?
I have a question. What is your favorite park in the city and why?
Can you repeat that? Sorry.
What is your favorite park in the city? Park, yeah.
My favorite park is Lucas Park, just because I've done a lot of I volunteered a lot with my sister, and I've like helped her with like these events, and also it's the community there. I really enjoy it and how beautiful the place is.
That's an incredible choice, which is also in the project area, and it's an amazing park. So, are there any other questions? Because if not, I am really excited to nominate you to the CSC meeting for a one-year term. Do I have a second? I think I saw Mayeli's hand up first. So Mayeli goes on the record as the second. So now we'll have a vote. All in favor, please raise your hands. So every single person here is voting? Yes. Congratulations. So we won't make you sit at the table this time, but we'll have a placard for you next time, and you can choose to sit wherever you'd like. But for now, you are welcome to sit back. Thank you again.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Rich City Rise, for all the great work that you all do. And for our next presenter will be, again, UC Berkeley with the indicator tracking plan on the year 2 presentation.
Bringing me a microphone. Thanks, guys. Hi, everyone. This actually feels like a good follow-up. As I mentioned before, our team completed the evaluation report for year 2, and this year we chose to highlight the stories of our amazing youth fellows. So it's awesome to see the new cohort coming in. And so the report will be available on our website, the Center for Global Healthy Cities website and the Richmond Rising website. Please go read. It was interesting to hear everybody mention how they would love to improve their communication skills. That's definitely something that all of the other youth fellows have mentioned. It seems like they've had an amazing time during the program, and every single one of them said that they felt more like comfortable with their skills and that they felt more grounded in their community. So please go read those stories. It was amazing to get a chance to interview them. And we've profiled Gabby because she's been such an incredible part of this program. And so go read, give an applause for Gabby, please. Thanks. Thanks to everybody who's taking the time to talk to us. And so just, yeah, a heads up that the report is out there. We've done our best to communicate with you all, make sure that all the numbers that we're reporting are accurate, but we know that things change. And so as always, if you see anything that doesn't really match what you feel like the organization has been doing, let us know. We'll make that change. And on that note, we have something a little more exciting to share. We've come up with a dashboard. It's kind of like we're testing it out. We want to hear your opinion. It's not available to the public yet because we want you to test it first. But we've just started thinking about the feedback that we've heard in the community meetings, and the reports are just really long. Part of it is stuff that we have to do for SGC and reporting purposes. But we also want to start thinking about how we communicate to the larger public what is happening in Richmond. And so we came up with an online dashboard that's in many ways doing a lot of the work that the report is doing, but in a more interactive way. And so if you don't mind going to the actual dashboard, please. Thank you. What you'll see is that we've created a page that gives you a general overview of all the big goals that that we have across projects. And so you'll be able to see that, for example, we're hoping that by the end of the project, we'll have installed 250, not 1,000, 250 solar installations. And so you'll get to see the number up to date and the goal, like the percentage of the goal reached. And you'll be able to see that for all the project goals. And then if you scroll down, there's also just some graphs and things that are helping you see more visually what's going on. So this is for the general project overview. And then we've created a tab for every single project. I think if you want to go maybe to Bosque, I think they might have some data in there. And so every project will have a separate tab that will showcase the progress towards their specific goals. And so that's where we would love your feedback. This again is kind of like testing mode. It was our first attempt at visualizing this. I will be following up in the next couple of weeks with a feedback form. And if you would be so kind to let us know your thoughts, we'll make sure to see if this is something that we want to integrate, for example, in Transparent Richmond, that we feel like has some value. And we're hoping to also move towards providing, for example, maps and interactive visualizations of where things are happening. So just wanted to share this with you. I'll be following up via email, so no action needed right now, but please be on the lookout for an email. Thank you.
How often will this be updated? Is this once a year with the ITP? Cool. So for the people on Zoom, the response was that this will be done every year as part of the ITP process, but that there could be consideration for doing it maybe every 6 months if people want that.
Thank you so much, Alice. So now we will have a presentation of the draft Transparent Richmond dashboard. Sorry about that. So now we have Jim Becker. He's going to be presenting on the Show Me Land tax. Thank you.
Thank you. So the Show Me Land tax is a way that we can activate our land acknowledgement statement, right? We say it before every meeting, right? But what does it really mean? And how do we actually engage in it in a much more direct way? So the land tax is a voluntary annual contribution that non-Indigenous people living on stolen land, particularly where we are here with the Ohlone people, can make to support the work of the Sogorea-Te Land Trust. Okay, so this is a way for us to activate what we're doing. Next slide, please. So this is about this. We have a $35 million grant. What I'm suggesting that we consider is that we look at supporting the rematriation of land by participating in and or providing SHUMI to this land trust. Next slide, please. The Ohlone community in the East Bay has no land base. They're not federally recognized, and they've been politically and economically marginalized because of that. And their territory, which is where we live or work, is one of the most inflated real estate markets in California. Thousands of their ancestors' bones are locked away in museums, including UC Berkeley and San Francisco State University, and need to be repatriated. Next slide. So why engage? So in Richmond, we're inadvertently benefiting from the genocide waged against the Ohlone people and the theft of their land. Paying the SHUMI tax is one way that we can acknowledge this history and contributes to its healing to support the Ohlone community's current work to create a vibrant future. Next slide. So, like I said, it's voluntary, right? So we don't have to do this. But to me, this is and I believe in this and I do it. This is one of the things we can do. And I did some calculations, right? And I thought if we gave collectively from this $35 million project, if we gave $10,000, that's 0.02% of the total grant funds, right? If we truly want to stand and read this land acknowledgement at every meeting, we need to figure out how to do this, right? And for each of us here, encourage your staff to do it. Encourage your own organization to do it. Contribute time and volunteer to help with Sogorea-Te projects. And commit to land acknowledgements before the meetings, which we do. I think there might be one more. Is there one more slide or is that it? Nope, that's it. That's it. So again, I think this is a great way for us to actually act on the land acknowledgement that we read at every meeting and do something about it. Thanks.
Are there any questions for Jim or comments? All right. Thank you, Jim. All right. I'm going to do the last presentation, which is just kind of an introduction to the application that we submitted as the city for the Bay Area Air District's Catalyst Grant. So many of the organizations here were a part of our grant and we're also a part of their own. But we just wanted to kind of break down the projects that we applied for and a general sense of the funding. I'm going to try to give very high level overviews of them just to kind of save time and to give you a sense. So I'll go through for each project, the project, a brief description, the partners, and how much we budgeted. Keeping in mind that the total budget was 15 million. So that's the context for each of these numbers. So the first one I'll talk about here is called Rooted, which was cooperation between the city, the park department, most chiefly, as well as Groundwork Richmond, the Watershed Project, and Richmond Trees. So this would plant 600 trees and also a number of rain gardens in public spaces, but many of which would be taken care of by residents who would be trained to do so. And then also green job training and employment opportunities for youth and others who are interested in learning more about this field and this kind of work. The total budgeted was just over 2 million for this project. The next project is called the Total Transit Access Pilot Program. This is in cooperation with BART and MTC, which is the Regional Transportation Agency. And effectively what it is we'll give out up to 1,500 passes, which give you unlimited rides on BART and AC Transit. So this is kind of a new model, like a catch-all program that will hopefully reduce the use of cars to get places and increase programs like use of BART. Oh, also ferry. I forgot about the Bay Ferry as well. So these will be provided for free for program participants, many of whom would also be in the other programs. Total budget for this is $1.1 million. Next program is Richmond Moves, which is a City of Richmond program that gives rides on demand to residents of the city throughout the city for different things like appointments, getting to classes, etc. This is an existing program for those who aren't familiar with it, but we would fund up to, I believe, 1 additional year of it with this program. And in this program helps also connect things like bus and trains to get you that last little mile or so to where you need to go. Total budget just over $1 million. The next project is the Resilient Homes Roof Repairs, which is in partnership with Grid Alternatives. So this program would actually be just a direct increase of funds for the TCC related project. And specifically, this would be for roof repairs, which would allow for installation of solar panels in homes where the state of the roof is so poor that solar panels cannot be safely installed or not for a meaningful amount of time. So it's just funding the roof repairs from what I understand, but it would enable programs like the solar panel as well as MCEs doing electrification programs. And there will also be some code and safety updates as well. Total budget for this is just over $2 million. The next project is, it's okay. So this is called the Mobile Energy Storage System, which is essentially a very large portable battery that would have to be brought on a truck with the trailer by the city's Parks or Public Works team. And essentially what this program would do is it replaces diesel-powered generators. So for those who aren't familiar, for large events where electricity is needed, typically what happens is there's generators, which are medium-sized motors that are run on diesel or gasoline and provide electricity, but also fumes for people that are in the nearby area, as well as larger greenhouse gas emissions, or more global, I should say, greenhouse gas emissions. So this would replace the need for those at city programs, which would include the lot, which is like an outdoor food vendor space on Tuesdays and Thursdays, as well as city events like Juneteenth, as well as many others. So it would reduce greenhouse gases and also costs in the longer run. Total budget is $278,000 for this one. The next project is the Martin Luther King Jr. Resilient Community Center, which, for those who aren't familiar, was a community center off of Harbor Way, but due to general building dilapidation was demolished. I'm not sure exactly when, maybe about 20 years ago. I'm not familiar with when, but it's been a long term and a lot of community advocacy for rebuilding the community center. So we did include a little over $3 million to advance the design part of it. So before you can build buildings, you have to design them, and that requires both community members to kind of give feedback on what kinds of things they want to see in the building, but also architects and other engineers who can design an actual physical building, as well as the outdoor area, which will be some combination of park and recreation space. So the funds for this would specifically go to engaging community members and working with professional environmental review consultants and others needed for getting it basically ready, so that if we do get additional funding in the future, we'll already be ready to go. The next project, or actually, I want to just say that community center is a part of this plan, because in part it would be a community resilience center, meaning that during extreme disasters, both climate related and otherwise, it would be a place where community members could gather. There would be water, food, shelter, cooling if the specific issue is that it's too hot. And there would also be job training and other things related to that. So that's sort of how it fits into the larger narrative of our project. The next project is with Lifelong Medical Care, who currently runs the Climate Health Promoters Program. This is a similar program, but more specifically geared towards people with asthma and other similar respiratory issues. So it includes home visits, but also a promoter-based program, sort of like a fellowship where they would learn skills and become community advocates, and then also receive certain home-based appliances that would increase the quality of the air inside. This one's budgeted at 1.2 million. The next project is the Climate Ambassadors Program, which is a minor evolution and continuation of the Youth Fellows Program with Rich City. We worked on this with Gabby, so you can see here some of the numbers, but it's very similar to the TCC Youth Fellows Program. Total budget for this would be 1.2 million. Next slide is the Advanced Energy Homes Program, which is with the Richmond Community Foundation, where Jim works. And this is a program that, in the larger sense, acquires abandoned and/or blighted homes and then addresses the issues that are outstanding with the building, which could be all sorts, including lead-based paint, air quality, water, groundwater pollution, and many other types of issues. But this program would specifically fund some of the electrification, which could include solar panels, electric vehicle charging, electrification on the indoors, which would both reduce greenhouse gas emissions, but also reduce the indoor air pollutants that residents face. So that's kind of a multi-tier project there. And this budget for this project is 1.1 million. Next slide. So this, the Facilities and Environmental Health Pathways is a job training program that's hosted by RISE Community Center. For those who aren't familiar, RISE located right off of San Pablo near the Target shopping center. And RISE is considered a resilience center, so their training will help educate the youth that are part of that program and also train them for a number of work opportunities, which can be which are varied depending on the interests of the youth. But they will be definitely also doing community engagement as part of that. Total budget for this project is 365, just about. Another program that we have is an environmental data fellowship, which would be managed by the Black Neighborhood, which is an organization that serves Richmond as well as Oakland. And this program is a youth fellowship more geared towards understanding and communicating environmental related data. So that could be air quality, health, et cetera. So this is both a community engagement as well as job training, since data analysis is a really important skill set. And then they'll also be doing community engagement. The total budget for this project is $504,000, and $504,000, sorry. Another program we have is in partnership with Rising Juntos, which is a community-led assessment. So this recruits, trains, and engages climate ambassadors. And these ambassadors would do further engagement in the community to basically do a community-based assessment of what are the outstanding environmental issues in the city and ways to address them. So this is a little bit different than a more quantitative approach. This is working directly in community to understand what is impacting the community and how we can come up with future programs to address the identified priorities. Total budget for that, can you go back one slide, is $636,000. And then we are also working with an organization known as STEAM the Streets. STEAM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Math. And basically it's like STEM, but it also is increased to include arts. STEAM the Streets will have a set of youth fellows as well, and they're doing basically media campaigns. So they're making videos, music videos, and other kinds of media to both to well, mostly kind of to communicate some of the impacts and help spread the word about the programs, but also kind of build a cultural kind of base of these programs. And so the Steam the Streets program is woven through all of the other programs to kind of help them communicate the message and get more feedback. Total budgeted for this project is $250,000. And then last but not least is UC Berkeley, who will be doing evaluation of some of the quantitative measures, including mental health impacts. And they'll be kind of leading in the quantitative data analysis for the measures, the measures that were identified as part of our application that we will be improving in the city. And the total budget for that project is $350,000. I believe that's the last slide. So yeah, I just wanted to give like a very broad overview so that we, all have a sense of the kinds of projects. Generally speaking, it's workforce and greenhouse gas reduction. So they all kind of fit in there. The way I described it was one by one, but they are actually very much braided into each other, both directly and indirectly, as an intentional part of our program structure. And we think that's awesome. So we're excited about that. We submitted last Friday, and we will hear back, I believe, in July. Actually, it may be later. I think it's the fall. They gave a broad timeline for when they'll have it done. Our application, we had 12 projects, and each project had to submit a 15-page application plus a budget and a measurable outcomes plan. So that's already almost 200 pages. And for our application, and you can imagine how many other applications there are. So it may take the district a while, but yeah, so we called the project Richmond Rising Together, and we are intending, if awarded, to kind of bring the additional projects into the fold that we have here in order to kind of keep building on the synergies that we're all working on already. Are there any questions about any of the projects or anything else related to this presentation? All right. Well, that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. And we wanted to know if there are any agenda requests for the next meeting right now that we can take note of from the community or stakeholders. Going once, going twice, gone. And so CSE members of the public, and all and everyone here are encouraged to share information on announcements and any other questions. Oh, yes, we have 2 questions over here.
I would like to invite you to Pasos. This is a program together with Mr. Joya every Thursday, 5:45 to 7:30. You can come. You will learn to dance, salsa, merengue, bachata, activities for young children. So come, enjoy, have a good time at the park for the whole family.
Yeah, so I learned today that the city of Richmond is hosting a sustainability expo on July 25th from 10 to 4 at the Richmond Civic Center auditorium. Now, I hadn't heard of it before, and when I checked with Mateus when I first got here, he hadn't heard about it either. So I'm wondering if it makes sense for Richmond Rising to be connected and participate in some way, because it's a sustainability expo. So we should figure out how to be there. So anyway, that's the announcement.
Thanks. Yeah, we'll look into that too to see what that is. And if it's appropriate, we can share with all the partners. I did mention it earlier, but we want to share this in part because it's our partners at Richmond Main Street. They're hosting a series, Music on the Main, which is sort of activating the downtown of Richmond. As I mentioned, the first event is on June 18th. Also, just on a personal level, I would highly recommend attending. Andre Thierry is awesome. I love Zydeco music, but if you've never heard Zydeco music, you will come to love it if you make it to this event. So we encourage everyone to come, tabling or not.
And this will be monthly, yes? Like
It is a monthly series. The dates of the other events are known. We emailed those out to project partners and anyone on our listserv. But the other dates, I don't think they know yet who will be performing.
Awesome. Great Alternatives is definitely thinking of participating in the next one. So, well, thank you all so much. If there are there any final comments or questions, hopes, dreams, fears at all? If not, I would like to bring this meeting to adjournment, and I would like to thank everyone here for coming and participating. Have a good evening. Bye bye.